Iceland is defined by its Arctic identity and its fabulous natural wonders, and people who, for 1,000 years, have embraced their rugged existence with ambition and a sense of fairness. Now Icelanders are hoping those values can help lead the world through the challenges posed by a warming climate.
The first people who arrived here, they decided this is a good place in which to live. The sea is close and the sea is full of fish.
On a picturesque peninsula near the capital Reykjavik, we visited the official residence of Iceland's president, Gudni Johannesson, and the First Lady, Eliza Reid, who's a Canadian.
There's a seal that sometimes sits over on the rock.
Reid is originally from Ottawa. She met Johannesson when they were students at Oxford University. A historian, in 2016 he was elected Iceland's head of state. The job is nonpartisan and mostly ceremonial, somewhat like Canada's Governor-General. And it thrust Reid into an unexpectedly prominent role in her adopted country.
I think I was a little bit nervous that there was no job description at the beginning, or no handbook on how to be a First Lady. And then I've just decided I would just do that myself.
She learned Icelandic and speaks it fluently. And that's helped her champion prominent causes such as gender equality and Iceland's role in heading off global warming, which was the focus of our conversation.
I want to know what you see in terms of a changing environment and what your level of concern is.
Right. I absolutely, anecdotally see a changing environment. Milder winters with less snow in the capital area, a glacier tongue that came right to the ring road, our main highway here, when I first visited Iceland 20 years ago, that have to drive 5 kilometers in to go and see. But there's also wonderfully optimistic examples of work that we're doing to try to improve this. And Iceland is a global leader in terms of renewable energy sources.
Much of Iceland sits atop active volcanoes. 85% of the homes here are heated by harnessing geothermal energy from inside the earth, including the presidential home. The capital is also full of geothermal baths and outdoor pools. It's clean and affordable power that can be tapped into far beyond Iceland, says the president.
All around the world you can find Icelandic companies trying to develop with interested parties geothermal energy. So this is one of the keys to tackle the climate crisis, not just to reduce our reliance on fossil fuels, but also to create cleaner, better cities.
That's not to say that Iceland has it all figured out. There are still major challenges here. Though it's home to just 400,000 people, Iceland has among the highest greenhouse gas emissions per capita in Europe. They come from heavy industry, from agriculture, and vehicles. A rapidly growing tourism sector is also adding to the challenge of reducing that emissions footprint.
Well, I see COP in Glasgow as a sensible step. It's a call to all nations to make sure that we continue moving in the right direction and at an even increased speed.
Iceland just fought an election over whether decarbonizing by the government's 2040 deadline, already a decade faster than most nations, is actually moving too slowly. Its net zero emissions plan includes nurturing companies that capture and sequester CO2, planting a lot more trees and transitioning farmland into wetlands to absorb more carbon, including land next to the presidential estate.
The water there, we had ditches there. Those ditches were dug in the 1930s to cultivate the land. Now we are filling up those ditches. It's a case of wetland reclamation.
How do you frame the challenge that the world is facing?
We can't keep talking. I think the point is just to say it's like gender equality. Clearly, it's not just happening of its own accord. We're not going to deal with the climate crisis unless we make conscious decisions to deal with the climate crisis and to work on it together at various levels.
Iceland's scenery is stunning, and increasingly visitors are arriving again from around the world to see it. But Reid says people in her adoptive country know that natural beauty is at risk and that Iceland has solutions to help preserve it. Chris Brown, CBC News, in Reykjavik, Iceland.